WWF No Mercy was my first video on this channel. Now when I look back at it, well, I'm gonna be honest here. I want to blow my fucking brains out. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. A re-review of WWF No Mercy. Enjoy. It's all dark. No Mercy, to some fans, is considered the best wrestling game of all time. But other fans, including me, consider another game released in 2003, the well-known wrestling game Here Comes the Pain, the best wrestling game. Hell, I've heard people talk about how SCR06 is the best wrestling game. I guess we'll never truly know what the best wrestling game is, except the game that we think is the best from our own perspective. WWF No Mercy was released in 2000 and is now a little over 14 years old, but is still played by more loyal gamers. The game released on the N64, but I didn't have an N64 as a kid, so I never got to play it until I was much older. It's better than nothing, I guess. I will admit, looking at the cover today, it looks like a cover I would create from GIMP. It was 2000 though, so I'll go easy on Ace Entertainment, the developer for this game. They worked on other games too, such as WCW NWO Revenge, WCW vs NWO World Tour, and WWF WrestleMania 2000, along with many others. So I guess when this game was in development, they already had experience with making wrestling games already. Yay! I think the game looks similar to WrestleMania 2000, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I can't really give an opinion on the graphics because it was 2000, come on. Wrestling games back then were just beginning to reach their potential, and were getting better than ever. Each wrestler does resemble their real-life counterpart, so you'll always know who each wrestler is, and with the short entrances, they are animated pretty well for its time. Yes, during a wrestler's entrance, they never actually reach the ring. Why? I don't know. But in WWF WrestleMania 2000, which had the same developer, you could actually see an entire entrance. But then, the in-ring animations were not actually in WWF No Mercy. It is pretty odd, but it's also not a big deal about the short entrances, at least for me. It depends on your personal preference. During gameplay, the AI can be pretty stupid at times and unresponsive, but that kind of thing is inevitable in a wrestling game, so I'll let that one slide. The gameplay is still fun, of course, but what I like most about it is the animations. You see, motion capture wasn't always around, and back then, the developers had to make the animations by themselves. It was pretty time consuming. But this game is a good example of how good developers can make animations look. Well, at least in my opinion. While the animations may look funny to some people, I beg to differ. I love the animations. Yes, it does take much longer to make a wrestling game without motion capture, I'm aware, but each animation definitely has that authentic look to it, even if it was made a different way than it is today. Today, we have what is known as DLC, downloadable content, and while it can be useful, the developers these days use it unnecessarily sometimes, like having people like Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, Michael Cole, and Mick Foley when they could easily be brought into the game. Well, the SmackDown Mall allowed you to purchase goods, earning money from the story mode and survival mode, in order to buy unlockable characters, clothing, wrestling moves, props, tattoos, weapons, and venues. Now, if they did that with Michael Cole, Jim Ross, and Jerry Lawler, I wouldn't mind. It's just better than buying them with real money. I understand if it's a new wrestler to the roster and it's too late to get him into the game, then it's okay if they're DLC. I just like having virtual currency. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, but I have only played part of the whole story mode that there is. I chose the WWF Championship path, and it put me in a feud with Triple H and Mankind, which is a real-life feud, so that is pretty cool. I was simply too lazy to play through the whole thing, and hey, if you haven't played this game, then at least I didn't spoil the whole thing for you. I can't really give a full opinion on the story mode, so I'll just say, the Triple H and Mankind feud was enjoyable to play through. Honestly, I really do enjoy this game, I just didn't feel like touching all of the story mode. Maybe you like the story mode, and if you did, great! I like pretty much everything else I've experienced though. This game has aged a lot. Older fans who grew up with this game would be flooded with nostalgia if they played it again after years of absence, and in a way, this is one wrestling game that even a more younger fan may enjoy. I guess 14 or 15 years from now, WWE 2K15 will be seen as the best wrestling game, or hell, WWE 12, since those games were wrestling games that offered an overhaul in gameplay and graphics. And young fans today might look back on those games fondly, just like you with this game. It's amusing to think that, but it may I'm sure some of you old school fans have this game as part of a collection, and if you do, it's pretty rare to have. You can't just find this game anywhere now, at least where I live. Well, that wraps up this re-review. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if it was short, but please tune in again for more re-reviews, weekly Raw reviews, and monthly pay-per-view reviews, and other wrestling content here and there. I shall see you next time, but for now, please, take care! Wow, that was loud. Take care.